Welcome, this is Nathan, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at a scenario where the West African Federation forms an empire. Now, I said federation like that because I'm not exactly sure if this is the West African Federation anymore, if it's just called West Africa. Because the African Federation this is the only remains of it. I'm not sure if this counts. This is still the Mediterranean country, but I just don't know if it's yet. I don't know if it's a Mediterranean country or if... I don't know. I have no idea. But today we're taking a look at a scenario where West Africa formed an empire. Now, West Africa, I think it's the fourth strongest country in Wisco, as of right now. And yes, I've got a new update of the world map. This thing changed so much in one episode, probably because of Pacifica. Like, these three countries uniting was so unexpected. Okay, yeah. Well, what if West Africa were to form an empire? Honestly, I don't think anybody could stop them. I'm being completely honest here. This country is so strong, it is almost impossible to really stop them unless, like, Europe and Mesopotamia combine forces to take them down. Like, that's how hard it is. America is across the ocean, and same with Unitaria, Canada, and Pacifica. Brazil's not strong anymore. The African Unitaria and South Africa are strong countries, but, like, even then, they're so far away. And they border a lot of weak countries. So let's see we'll tell you when we're taking a look at where they form an empire. So, their first goal is to reinstate this land down here, this green team. I'm being completely honest when I say this. Why did adizzpro make this independent from West Africa? I know they had to have some punishment, but why? It looks horrible. So West Africa will begin its invasion of this green team, and honestly, there's gonna be like no backlash. Oh yeah, the A and all that doesn't exist for this video. West Africa will have no problem taking out this country because it is so weak. They will completely roll it over unless they look at the peace treaty. No, not you. In the peace treaty, they are fully annexed, and West Africa is now maybe at the territorial peak? I'm not actually sure. Yeah, but with this, with West Africa now expanding into one of its neighbours, all the neighbours are going to be absolutely terrified, and they should be. Because, West Africa doesn't look like they have any plan. Well, okay. The one country that they might actually not invade is going to be Iberia, Unitaria. Just because if they do invade that, the world and the Unitarian countries are probably going to actually lose it with them. But I don't think anybody's going to lose their mind when they invade the Central Saharan Republic, I like to call it. I like to call it the Central Saharan Republic because I am pretty sure this country is in the middle of Sahara. And I'm not joking when I say that. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure all this land is the Saharan Desert. Troops are entering, and these guys are actually probably weaker than the green team. They have no coastal access, and, West Africa is so strong. They cut these countries in two because they were two countries on their own originally. And this country is so that they're just going to surrender. So let's take a look at this peace treaty. In kind of a shocking event, West Africa does not actually fully annex this country. They take a huge chunk from it, however, and this thing ain't gonna last on its own. Being straight up honest, this thing is not gonna survive on its own. So, all the countries except for West Africa around here are gonna come together and divide it up. So let's take a look at that. Taking a look at how it's divided up, we can see that the brown team will be getting this. Libya will be getting, I think, the most land, maybe not the most valuable land, but they'll be getting this. And, these guys, the blue team, they are absolutely they are so mad. They asked to have a lot more land than they got given. So they're definitely mad about this, but there's not really much they can do, because the two shrunk, they're probably the weakest out of all these countries. Anyway, West Africa has now expanded into two of its weakest neighbours, and they don't seem to have any plans of stopping, as troops will now begin to line up on the border of the Mediterranean country. Now, Libya is terrified. Libya is absolutely terrified of West Africa. You know, they have, again, West Africa really has nobody stopping them from doing this. So, Libya's gonna go to, the Mesopotamian countries, and it's gonna be like, can you guys guarantee of independence? And the red team and the blue team are gonna look at Libya and just laugh and say no. So then they go to Egypt, and Egypt's like, we can form a defensive pact if we want to, even though West Africa would still most likely destroy us, but we can form a defensive pact. And then Sudan's like, hey, can I join in on that? And we see a defensive pact being signed. No. We see a defensive pact being signed between these three countries. Now, Libya didn't realise that West Africa was going to be invading the Mediterranean country, so when troops enter into Mediterranean, Libya is terrified, because Mediterranean it's just come back. So Mediterranean is going to get slapped in this war. I'm sorry, they came back. They've just been brought back from terrorists taking over their country, and yeah, they're gonna they're gonna fold. They fall within only a month. That's crazy, considering the fact that they are a pretty strong country. So let's take a look at the speech tree. Once again, for annexation. At this point, West Africa is huge. To me, they're already really huge, but they're huge now. They are becoming really big. And once troops begin to line the border of the orange team's like, okay, no, let's not do this. The orange team will come up to West Africa and basically say, we are willing to give you some land, but in exchange, you sign a non-aggression pact with us, which basically says you cannot expand into us, okay? And West Africa is going to look at this and it's going to go, you know what? We'll take that. This is probably, if they were to invade this country, it will definitely be the strongest country they've faced so far. And honestly, South Africa, they're just going to demand, they're the stronger country here, they're going to demand the lands they want. So let's take a look at this peace treaty. And taking a look at this ultimatum, basically, the orange team's going to be losing a lot of land. The first area that they lose is going to be this area down here, which West Africa will take. Then they lose this area, and then they lose this area. So, West Africa just bullied one of their strongest neighbours, and they reduced them down to this. Now, this is kind of strong, I'm not sure, actually. At this point, West Africa is huge. I still don't think they'll be a top 3 power, because most of their, economy and all that is focused up here. So I don't think, obviously there's going to be stuff down here because it's coastal, but I don't know what they'll be doing, but they're not done. Their empire is not big enough. Now, at this point, a fourth country's just entered this alliance with these guys, and it's the Central African thing here and the brown team. And that's 5 very large countries, and if Egypt's the strongest, Libya's probably second strongest, Sudan's the third strongest. All these countries combined might be enough to actually stalemate West Africa as of right now. So instead of expanding into these guys, how about we expand into the Mediterranean? So ships from West Africa will enter into the Mediterranean and will head over to the island of Crete. And they invade it. It falls within only a week. Now, nobody in Europe was really worried about, West Africa being planning on invading Europe, but they just invaded Europe. And West Africa shows that they are not stopping until somebody stops them. And the brown team is kind of looking at this, or the Dutch Republic, and they're kind of looking at this and going, this could be bad. So, yeah, once West Africa declares war on Naples, the Dutch Republic is going to say to West Africa that if you continue to expand into Europe, we are going to probably form a coalition against you. So, yeah, don't mess with Europe anymore, other than Naples, because they're not going to help Naples. A land is made in Sicily, and the island is taken almost immediately. And from here, we see them start marching up the Italian peninsula, and Naples is getting crushed in this war. Yeah, there's no chance for them. Naples will completely lose everything, and they will surrender over to West Africa. So let's take a look at speech tree. And once again, for annexation, there is no mercy for these countries. West Africa is fully annexing all these countries, which honestly might lead to its demise, because they are becoming very large very quickly. But they don't care, because all this dictator has on his mind is making West Africa the biggest, well, maybe not the biggest country in the world, but all he has on his mind is expansion. And he decides that the final act for West Africa shall be to take on this thing with these countries. The 5 countries that have come to align each other. His goal is to rule the Mediterranean. Yes, the Romans have done that twice. They've ruled the Mediterranean twice. But West Africa feels like it's their turn to rule the Mediterranean. And they seek land gains. They seek land across here in Egypt. With Europe basically being out of the picture, and also you don't want to mess with the red team. That's not a fight you want to fight. They can't really expand anywhere in Europe. All these countries, all of these countries are guaranteed by the Dutch. Even Greece, yes, Greece is also in that. Nobody's really guaranteeing these guys down here. So yeah. West Africa will, after like a year of preparations, begin to invade into Libya. They immediately send their army right into Libya and begin taking over coastal areas. We also see some divisions enter into the into the Saharan desert, but they don't really go really far. Libya's capital is probably captured at this point, and they begin moving around the coast. They use Crete to make a landing over here to encircle a ton of troops, which are begging for help from Egypt. And at this point, Egypt is mobilized, and Egypt is coming in. Well, they're coming in hot. West Africa. This was a very interesting invasion plan. It was a very interesting invasion plan, which is now failing because Egypt and Sudan are here. And these guys push back pretty hard. But at this point, West Africa is beginning another operation into the brown team. Basically, they're saying to this army, take the capital, kill the leader, take out the country. And this country is no match for this army. This isn't even the main army of the West Africans. This army right now, the main army's up here fighting Libya, Egypt, the Central African team, and Sudan. This is like the second main army. So when they enter in, they destroy this country. They immediately capture the capital and begin to they just begin to split into a bunch of pieces, and this country is going to it capitulates within a month. And the blue team is like, oh, that's not good, because West Africa is now on our border. And these troops have just decided to kind of invade them. Now, West Africa doesn't seek ambitions in these countries, although they probably will annex land from them. But, they've reorganized these troops, and they are now, pushing back pretty hard. We see them push back and try and get towards the border of Egypt, but Egypt's trying their best to hold this back. But, yeah, they're beginning to push down farther. Egypt is begging for help from Mesopotamia, but Mesopotamia is saying, we're not bothered, we're not bothered, bud, so leave us alone. So once Libya loses this area, and once Libya is cut off from all this, and Libya is going to lose this, once this is lost, Libya basically capitulates. The leader has fled to Egypt at this point, but, that might not be lasting for long, because troops are now entering into Egypt, and they ain't slowing down. Now, they are definitely getting pretty far from home, and supplies are definitely starting to get thin. So, once they take over these very valuable areas, West Africa is going to stop. And it's because they've gone too far. This is what Napoleon did. He invaded Russia. He went out really far, and resources got very thin. And this is exactly what's happened here with West Africa. They have gone too far. However, down here, this blue team is getting kind of destroyed. And at this point, West Africa is going to offer peace. Egypt's lost all their valuable land, Libya's lost all their valuable land, and Sudan is, Sudan and blue team are not really doing anything at this point. They're kind of just preparing for the invasion, the inevitable doom. But, they're kind of shocked when West Africa comes over to them with peace treaty. West Africa basically says, we can't do this anymore. We've used up all our resources during this war. So let's take a look at this peace treaty. And taking a look at this peace treaty, we can see what West Africa is going to be taking. And it is a lot of land. West Africa is going to be annexing... No, they're not going to be annexing the whole thing. Where? There? Was that really what's caused it? They'll be annexing about half of the brown team, leaving them very crippled. They'll be taking a tiny bit of land from the blue team. This chunk from Libya, another chunk from Libya, and this tiny piece from Egypt. And Libya is crippled. They lost all their valuable land, and... Oh, no. They lost all their valuable land, and they are now... Well, they're not going to last much longer. So, at the end of the day, there's not really a choice. They end up uniting with the blue team. The brown team is fine, I think. Oh. But, yeah. At this point, West Africa is huge. They have taken over a ton of land. They have definitely ruled the Mediterranean. And, if they continue to expand, they'll probably explode. Because, yeah, they have a lot of different cultures within them now. So, that's going to be it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.